coming up to the very last ones here. I'm just going into the last few stitches. And then of course this is the last one before the gap. And the gap is really important because that's what is going to teach you. So now we want to go right into the gap, and that'll be the last time that you go into this on this angle, so on this horizontal. So now what we want to do is attach. So get to the next one here. So these are your next one that are waiting. Do the sandwich effect so that you know that both squares are facing in the same direction, and then just go completely into the gap of the sandwich. So gap and gap, just like so. And now let's grab the material again and single crochet, and make sure when you go to do that that you don't end up with it being too loose, because this is a critical point in between each one. So basically go across on this line again, putting single crochets into each matching of the front and the forward, and you're going to find that you're going to get yourself into a rhythm that'll be really quick and easy. So continue along. So this is what you need to do to go in this direction. So there's the gap. Let's go into gap on both sides. So basically what you'll end up with is that one side will be fastened with this groove and the other side won't be. So when I go to turn it over, it'll be completely flat on this side. So continue that. I'll meet you back up at the end just to make sure you did it right, and we'll continue along and we'll do the other direction. So I'm just finishing up, and I just got a couple more to go. So the last matching, and of course the very last gap. Don't forget about that last gap. And now we want to cast off. So just taking your scissors over your hand. You know, this is a blanket. I would be very inclined, if I were you, to want to tie it together. So just bringing the material through and just be like so. So just I would give it a tie right at the edge, but do not cut your string too loose, or too don't cut it too short, and then just weave in your end into your project. So we teach you how to weave in other tutorials, so just continue to weave those in, and we're going to turn our project and we're going to concentrate. So you can see now that if I did the next one up, you're going to have these all attaching together in one direction, and they'll all be empty in this direction. So let's get on with the next part. So finish that casting off and then continue with your next. So what we're going to just do is just turn your project now and work back in the horizontal going in another direction. I already have my hook already started up, and basically you want to line up again the front gap. So you can push it up like a sandwich. It really doesn't matter anymore because you've fastened down one side, there's no possibility that you're actually going to fasten the wrong side now. So just grabbing the gap to gap, sticking your needle in, and of course start beginning to do your single crochet. So in, through. Okay, and now we're just going to match each stitch like we did before. So the front one, the front, and back. Okay, and then you've got the gap again, so we're just going to go right into the gap. Now, you know, usually all my tutorials I have the screen behind me. I'm sitting comfortably on a chair demonstrating for you. I found that assembling granny squares, I prefer to stand up on a high table or a counter just to be able to see what's going on. When fastening together, I get kind of worried that I might fasten the wrong sides, so I pay attention more by standing up. And it doesn't really take that much time to stand up to assemble. The more time in this project is actually making your separate squares. So let's fast forward this video, and we'll go to where we're going to jump in between the squares. So now we're just about to finish off before jumping over, and now this is where we got to pay attention. That was the last stitch, and you're going to of course do the gap. You can see the gap, and now what I did on the last one is that I just chained one. So just chain one just to jump over the other groove that's already in there, and then of course fold the next one up in single crochet. So I can just chain one and go over it. I found that when I didn't not chain one, that it just pulled it a little bit tighter than I really wanted it to be. So you just continue along the stitch, match stitch from the front. When you get to the gap, just do one. And the reason why we're only doing one in the gap, do you remember? That's because we only put chain one in between each of the three. So you're kind of maintaining the pattern on your border. So let's fast forward and finish off, cast off like you did before, like I showed you, and I'm going to show you what this project looked like on both front and back sides. So now you can see that the grooves are on both sides. It looks kind of a window, so if you had a whole blanket of that, just like I showed you in the intro, you're going to have a whole square or the whole granny square blanket where the grooves are up, and on the other side will be perfectly. Now you have all these stragglers there. You can deal with that after you're done, and wonderful effect on one side. And I don't mind the grooves on this project either. It actually gives a little bit of an element of surprise depending on which way that you wanted to display this project. So you can even see that the squares look different no matter what side you are. So this other side looks tight, this one doesn't look as tight, but either side just looks fabulous. So good luck with that, and I hope you have a great day today.